Our continuing series, What's Working, looks at innovations that are paying off in America, from education to infrastructure and more. Labor Department figures show solar panel and wind turbine technicians are the two fastest growing careers in the country. Texas is where you'll find the most of those wind industry jobs. The traditionally conservative state is leading the way for renewable energy across the nation. Steve Inskeep, co-host of NPR's Morning Edition and Up First, shows how local leaders in Texas are going green. Steve, good morning.
Hey there, John. Glad to be here. Hi, guys.
Hi.
A city we visited in Texas says that on most days its electricity comes 100% from wind power. It's the largest such city in America, and surprisingly, one person who made this possible was President Trump's Energy Secretary, Rick Perry, the guy who's now been ordered to promote coal. Let's begin where the electricity does, at a wind farm in the Texas Panhandle. How many miles of wind turbines are we walking through here?
From the furthest point out on the project to the furthest point out back there is right about 13 miles.
Dave Watkins oversees this wind farm. It's on Route 66, exactly halfway between LA and Chicago. Bikers taking road trips on this historic highway rumble past one new wind farm after another.
I heard someone in town say once that this particular area doesn't have a lot of oil, doesn't have a lot of water, but the one thing it does have is wind.
Which means a job for Wesley House.
Look at this. Best office in the world.
He used to work on oil rigs.
To me, this is more stable.
Oh, it's beautiful.
With oil, it's either a hit or miss.
A few years ago, it was impractical to generate power in this remote spot. Then Texas spent $7 billion on power lines connecting windy North and West Texas with cities south and east. It happened under Energy Secretary Rick Perry, who was governor then.
We can deliver power to San Antonio, Dallas, Houston, you name it.
Where the people are.
Yep.
Including the city that uses almost entirely renewable power. It is 501 miles from Adrian, Texas, where the wind turbines are, down to Georgetown, Texas, where the power is going. We've been driving all afternoon through the Permian Basin in the center of Texas, and all along the way we've been passing oil pump jacks from an older economy and wind turbines from a new economy. When we arrived in Georgetown, people told us coal plants kept the lights on for generations.
I think it's kind of cool. We have all this history, but we're one of the leading cities when it comes to innovation in the country.
Then Republican Mayor Gayle Ross concluded the market was changing. Were you always a Republican?
Always a Republican.
You grew up in a Republican family?
I did.
Who's your favorite president?
President Reagan.
Unlike many Republicans, Ross accepts climate science. He supports clean power so much, he bought an electric motorcycle. But Ross says he approved wind and solar because it's affordable.
This was first and foremost a business decision. And if you win the business argument, then you're going to win the environmental argument.
Have the facts been changing? 10 years ago, 20 years ago, wind or solar would have been more expensive, right?
That's true, but now the facts are changing. It's a totally different landscape out there. Let me tell you, in the state of Texas, since January 1st, 4 coal plants have closed. This is the economics of the matter. You buy wind and solar for, say, $18 a megawatt. You buy coal for $25. You have that choice. Which one are you going to buy?
So you're thinking about the art of the deal.
The art of the deal. I might be able to teach Mr. Trump something when it comes to renewable energy. All he has to do is invite me, and I'll come to the White House. We can have a great discussion.
Very clean coal.
The president has hailed a few new coal jobs.
The miners go back to work.
But has not erased coal's disadvantage against natural gas and renewables.
My overall impression is that President Trump has been able to do less damage than I feared that he would.
Former Vice President Al Gore.
Howdy.
Howdy, Mr. Vice President.
How are you, Mr. Mayor?
Featured Georgetown's mayor in one of his climate documentaries.
Market forces are moving the entire energy marketplace toward renewable energy. I'm hoping they'll follow the lead of Dale Ross rather than Donald Trump.
Renewable energy has continued growing since Trump's election. even in Texas, the conservative home of Trump's energy secretary. So even though Rick Perry is the energy secretary for President Trump, who's all about coal,
Right.
he was in some way a visionary on wind.
He was, and without his leadership, we wouldn't be having renewable energy here. Now, he's shying away from that, and I need to be his PR guy. But maybe he doesn't want to take credit for it because his boss is a big coal guy.
Okay, now we did reach out to Energy Secretary Rick Perry's office, and they say that Perry does take credit for promoting wind in Texas and that he still promotes it as Energy Secretary.